what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy. By the way, huge recruiting this weekend. Barry, the number one running back in 2025, commits on Friday, and Bryce Underwood, the number one player and quarterback in 2025, commits on Saturday, both heavy lean LSU. That'd be awesome. Oh, we said Barry commits today. That'd be awesome, but I don't know. Do we just be careful putting too much emotion into a 25 commitment before the season's even taking place? You know what I'm saying? Like winning the early pass and maybe getting a commitment is a big deal. And it should be commended, but it's in no way binding, right, guys? Like,
no.
Like Taylor, you're kind of our main recruiting correspondent on the show. So let's say Bryce Underwood commits to LSU this weekend. Like, what's your reaction? Because I'm kind of like, good, okay, yeah, awesome, but like, let's just watch it play out.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 2025, so it's like he's got
which is not as far away as it sounds. Though, to be clear, that's next year's class.
I mean,
yeah.
Look at what these kids do
Sounds like
nowadays.
The Jetsons.
It's like
they're so far away, but you're right.
I'd be excited. I'd be like, great, we got him, which means he didn't commit somewhere else. Now you have to hold on to him. You have to recruit these kids twice. You have to get them, and then you have to get them on campus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like there's
I'd be excited because it's like it's always better to have them commit to you than someone else. But it's like that ain't gonna stop people from keep calling. I mean,
now,
we just flipped Dominic McKinley a couple days ago. It's like that happens all the time. I'd be happy because it's positive for LSU, but you got a long ways to go.
Well, and even nowadays, I mean, not even Walker Howard stayed, and that was as LSU of a guy as you could possibly find.
Literally, yeah. Father, leader of the recruiting class.
Colin Hurley's challenging him for that
That's
crowd.
True. That is true.
Colin Hurley puts it on for the purple and gold. But I'm just saying that I'm not naive enough anymore to like expect somebody to stay or think it's always going to work out. But you still got to go after these guys. It's still a credit to you if you get a commitment out of them. It does become interesting in this OC search, though, doesn't it? Like, what if Bryce Young loves Joe Sloan? Does that affect who you end up giving this title to? I would say that the Sloan-Hankton combination acquitted themselves very well in this bowl game. But then again, we keep talking about how great Cortez Hankton's been. Joe Sloan's been awesome, too. Do you risk upsetting one versus the other if you give them main play caller responsibilities? Or can you pacify both by making them co-coordinators? But at the end of the day, one does have to kind of have the final say there. Now again, both of them are, especially Hankton, like how you got him out of Georgia, one of the reasons because you compensated him very well. Mm-hmm. So maybe further, it's just so funny. Everything in college football is just you have to throw more money at it. You want to help the coach with their schedule? Hire more people. You want to keep these players on your team? You got to pay them. You want to get these good recruits? You got to pay them. You want to keep these good coaches, or you want to get good coaches from elsewhere? You got to pay them. It's wild.
It's 100% factual. You have to. Now, like in this case, it might not be money because all the money's there already for Hankton, for Joe Sloan.
No, I just mean like, let's say you like go with like let's say you choose one over the other, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to give the other a raise to try to offset? And then the one that gets the title is going to get a raise automatically because they get the title,
or
right?
do they get passing game coordinator, a run game coordinator, if you're at Florida, game-changing coordinator.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. But what does that actually
titles
mean to somebody if they're like, no, I want to be the guy?
Right.
So it's
anything, defense, offense coordinator. It's something that it can be a problem at times.
It can work.
Right?
We've seen it work incredibly well, but it's just
We've seen it work, yeah. I mean, 2019 with Slinger and Joe Brady, the way they worked together, that was fantastic. It can absolutely work, and it worked in this bowl game. I mean, you had a guy that's never started a game throw for 395.
Yeah.
Right? So it certainly can work. And I think, honestly, and I know a lot of people might want to roll their eyes, I think that they could do a really good job. I think Joe Sloan is absolutely ready to be a coordinator. He's already been a coordinator. He's been one at Louisiana Tech. He was almost a head coach, right? And so I think you have the guys on campus if you want to. Like, if that's the direction, if you want to keep that unity, because both those guys can recruit their ass off as well, right? So they've already got ties into, this class coming in and the next class. I would be completely fine if it was a co-coordinator situation, just because seen the dynamics, how they've played out, and it's worked well when you've done it.
I just want them to keep both guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever,
I'm saying
whatever it takes to be able to keep Hankton and Sloan. I don't think you need to go out of house for an OC.
There will be people that roll their eyes certainly at Joe Sloan because we're LSU and we're hiring the former Louisiana Tech coordinator. Like, you got to get past that. Coaches grow just like players do, and Joe Sloan is one of the best football coaches, I think, of quarterbacks certainly in the country. And Hankton is a receiver. Like, Hankton was before he even got here.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, look at how Georgia's receivers have fallen off post.
Like, you can't allow that to come into your thought process. You can't, hey, we're LSU, we got to go get the guy who's already been the guy. Well, sometimes the guy is ready for the job. You already have him on your staff, and you just elevate that player.
And Kelly knows. I mean, Kelly made Tommy Reese his OC, like almost fresh
when
out of
nobody else
college.
would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then he was so valuable that Nick Saban went and snatched him up. And I think Tommy certainly wasn't perfect at Alabama this year, but he got way better and better as the year went on, and he was a key part of that Alabama team reaching that final. So no, if Kelly thinks that's the guy, I think that's an evaluation I can trust. But again, this is all to say, like if Sloan hasn't a just fantastic relationship with somebody like Underwood, that's a piece in the decision-making pie that you have to take into account when you're deciding these things.
Well, not only that, like, you're breaking in a new quarterback next year, regardless of who it is. He has coached Garrett Nussmeier already. They already have a relationship. And Jake, to your point, you're like, oh, you want the guy who's already been the guy before. Joe Brady wasn't a guy at any offensive coordinator before he got here. People love Joe Brady. You're always looking for the next one. I mean, he coached under Sean Payton in New Orleans, but he was never a primary play caller before he got here. And look, a lot of people.
I mean, if you're the guy at OC, I'm sorry, Taylor, go ahead.
No, like a lot of people rolled their eyes at the Mike Denbrock hire. There was a lot of LSU fans. They will not admit it now. They were like, we've seen it. He's kind of stale.
We were even down on Denbrock after week 1 this year.
Yeah, I know. And like, look what he did. Like, it's not always, everybody's like, oh, well, you got to get a can't miss. There's not a can't miss hire. There never is. There's no such thing as a sure thing. Get a guy out there that is familiar with him. Like you mentioned, T-Bob, back with the Bryce Underwood thing. It's like, you got to have this quarterback room intact. Like, he loves Garrett Nussmeier. Like, they're familiar with each other.
Yeah.
A.J. Swan, who you're bringing in, actually plays very similar to Garrett Nussmeier. You bring in a Colin Hurley.
And I love Colin Hurley. Dude.
Well,
he's just young. He's very young.
Go watch Bryce Underwood. He's bigger. Him and Colin Hurley have similarities. So it's like your quarterback room, if you can keep that intact with a guy like Joe Sloan, like, you can be stable there for a long time if you get this hire right.
And the other thing is,
even when he was at Louisiana Tech, like, he had Jamar Smith at quarterback, who was the Conference USA Player of the Year.
Is that the one that kind of cooked LSU?
Yes.
Cooked LSU in Tiger Stadium?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, like, he's proven it. Like, you can't allow, like, everybody has to continue to grow. And when he was there, like, Louisiana Tech was a good program. Louisiana Tech was a good program for a long time. They've been bad the last couple of years. So you can't allow that to dictate your thought process, because it feels like this is the next step for him.
Also, this idea of wanting a guy at coordinator is somewhat flawed, because if he's a guy, he's probably up for head coaching jobs, right? Like if he's a guy at a major school, then why would he go lateral to be a guy at a major school? Unless you're like Pete Golden and you're like, Lane Kiffin's my boy, and I just want out of, I'd rather work with him than Nick Saban. We're like best friends, and he's going to pay me $2 million. So, okay, I'll go do that.
Hey, somebody's
we haven't got to talk about Ole Miss with you, have we yet, Jake?
About after the Penn State game?
Yeah, did we talk
No,
about
I was
it
watching
already?
it in New Orleans, so no.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They look pretty good, dude.
I told you. Like,
but I'm saying I've never seen toughness out of Ole Miss.
I know.
That was the one thing we needed to see.
The retention of who they have is as important or maybe more important than who they have coming in.
It's just the toughness,
Missouri,
man.
too. Like, Missouri found a way. Like, Missouri was tougher than Ohio State.
That was awesome. Well, apparently Ohio State didn't practice. So.
Well, it looked like
it's really swirling on Ryan Day, man. Especially because these Ohio State fans got so spoiled by beating Michigan so much.
Yeah.
And now and what's crazy to think about is you got to keep the perspective. Ryan Day was literally one play away from winning a natty last year. I feel very confident Ohio State would have beaten TCU, and especially now with what we've seen C.J. Stroud do in the NFL, like, you see how good he really was. and he almost beat that Georgia team. They were one play away, and now Ohio State fans want him fired.
They're one shank kick away
Yeah.
from winning a national championship.
It's crazy, bro. College football is wild how quickly fortunes can
And now they're
turn.
scrambling for their quarterback. They're scrambling. Kyle McCord leaves to go to Syracuse, and you're wondering, like, initially it was Cam Ward. Now Cam Ward's decided to go to the NFL draft. Now they're trying everything they can to get Will Howard from Kansas State. He's been tied to USC and Miami, and now Ohio State in the 11th hour knows that they don't have their quarterback, and they're trying to get in on Will Howard.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.